So today we have a question from our viewers. And Yuvati is going to read that.
Dandavats everyone, Dandavats Bhakti Lalita Devi. We've noticed that the devotees of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, especially those that have had more personal association with Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, are, shall we say, hyper-vigilant about Sahajiyas and Sahajiyāism. I'm open to learning from you, and maybe I should review what Sahajiyas are and what Sahajiyāism really means, and what the ramifications, of its influence are.
Okay. Do we want to translate that for Maharaj? Did you catch that? Asking about Sahajiyāism.
Вопрос о том, кто такие сахаджи и что такое сахаджиизм, как их распознать, так как в начале вопроса говорится о том, что кто-то из старших преданных, особенно у тех, у кого было непосредственное общение с Шрилой Говиндой Махараджем и Шрилой Шридхаром Махараджем, они очень внимательны к этому и, так сказать, пытаются увидеть это во многом, да, то есть слишком внимательные, слишком такие аккуратные в этом плане. И как распознать, то есть готовность узнать у Бхакти Лалиты, какие признаки, что это такое.
Yeah, so maybe Maharaj, you first give some answer. You start. Say something you know.
I know a couple things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whichever language you want.
Okay, I can say in Russia, she's good translator. Okay. Я, в общем, когда Гурудев был в России, и у него про подобное спрашивали, он говорил, что русским, такое у него была шутка, что типа вам это не грозит, потому что вы не знаете перевода. То, что вы поете, вы не, вам до этого далеко, вот, чтобы уйти в этот сахаджизм. Вот это первый момент. А второй, самый важный, что сахаджизм — это, подражание в основном. Вот. И всем людям склонны подражать, но подражание — это тоже определенное искусство, которое не свойственно русскому менталу.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Maharaj shared that when Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Gurudev visited Russia and he was asked, that question, he assured us all that we are not under threat of that Sahajiyāism, due to the simple fact that we don't know translation. We can't really get it. So we are kind of protected.
Something like that.
Due to that. And then the second point is that Sahajiyāism is imitation. But imitation is, the good quality imitation is a form of art. So once again, it's not something that is close to our mentality, Russian mentality. So jokingly, again, we are not under threat of the art of good imitation.
You're not good imitators in Russian. Right. I can see that. Okay, continue, please, your thoughts, your sharing.
В общем, идея такая, что не свойственно подражать, но при этом мы все стремимся быть на кого-то похожи. Вот. И мы пытаемся что-то взять лучшее из какой-нибудь личности, которая сияет ярко. Вот. Но путь преданности, он не про это. И мы знаем, что мы не можем, подражая преданным, стать преданными. То есть, если мы будем изображать, как говорит один из наших учителей, говорится, что если мы будем изображать роженицу, то мы не сможем родить. То есть нужно подлинное оплодотворение. Вот.
So the essence is that although it's kind of a part of the human nature, like this tendency to imitate, to act like something beautiful, something effulgent. So we have this tendency to recognize something high and then naturally we want to be like that. But still, it doesn't take us anywhere. It's not connected. It doesn't lead us to devotion, essentially, because as someone of the seniors said, like, even if we perform, even if we act as if we are in labor, we're not gonna give birth. There's something real needs to happen.
Continue. Your thoughts?
I know you know answer. You know good answer. You give me mercy for you give me choice, chance, выбор, да? Chance?
Chance.
Chance. Yeah, you give me for preaching.
Yeah.
I know you been with Gurudev almost 26 years in India. You know.
20, almost 20.
Almost 20, okay. For me, 26.
Prabhupada, I heard, said, we need to confirm this. Someone out there maybe knows if this is a true Prabhupada said thing. 'Cause there's a whole song about what Prabhupada said, and it's a joke. But 1 year equals 10 in India.
Yeah.
But we need confirmation. Somebody please check for us if he really said this. But anyhow, no, I want to hear something from you, and I want all our viewers to hear from you. And when you've said what you want to say, I'll speak after you.
Okay.
This is actually our etiquette. We learn these things in our spiritual education.
Usually we or наше поведение обычно, оно подразумевает уже подражать в целом. Вот мы живем, мы как бы друг у друга, тем более сейчас вот эта вот культура инстаграмов и так далее, делает нас еще больше такими, по идее. Но наша удача, то, что вот мы сейчас находимся в обществе вайшнавов, на примере которых мы видим, каким следует быть по-настоящему в духовной жизни. Что такое подлинное смирение, что такое подлинное терпение. Вот. И когда мы находимся в обществе таких вайшнавов, то мы находимся в безопасности. То есть нам становится понятно, что такое подлинное смирение, подлинное терпение.
So continuing the thought regarding our natural human default to imitate something, to strive for something that we consider higher, more beautiful, and the Instagram culture could be the example for that. That is really common in this age. So, regardless of the fact that we have this natural tendency, we are safe. We who are practicing devotion, because we have personalities that practice true, real patience, tolerance, humility. So being associated with such personalities, we are safe because they have the real substance.
Да, и мы не практикуем как это, чтобы вот плакать перед алтарем, там стоять, ну, мы не разучиваем трели на караталах, вот, мы не пытаемся демонстрировать эмоции, когда поем вайшнавские песни, потому что мы понимаем, что это наследие наших учителей.
So, you know, in our tradition, you know, crying in front of the altar is not welcome. Like doing something really like complicated music-wise is not welcome. And expressing some, you know, emotions while we chanting our, you know, prayers, bhajans is not welcome either. So it's not our mood.
И когда мы читаем перевод песен вайшнавских, то они могут показаться слишком сентиментальными. Но это поток их сердец. То есть наши сентименты, как говорится нашими учителями, что наши эмоции, они пока еще только, ну, мы их ставим под сомнение, свои эмоции, касательно божественного.
So, when we read translation of our bhajans, our prayers, we may feel some sentiments, right? But we need to remember that our emotions, like our development, is limited at this point. And we need to remember that this is the stream, the channel of the hearts of true devotees, true saints. So, you know, to be cautious to interpret that.
Beautiful, Marsh. Any other thoughts?
For me, difficult to say because I know for me, difficult continue because I know you can open for us that thing more deeper, more beautiful.
That's your mercy and grace that you have this goodwill for me, and I appreciate that. And Jai Gurudev, we are family and brothers and sisters, and
Ну, даже если, so one more thing.
Yes.
Srila Siddhartha Maharaj, he told, if you see Krishna, you must to go to teacher Gurudev and ask him, Gurudev, I saw Krishna. That is true. So, if that thing we need all the time to check, we need also understand. If I feel some emotion, new path coming to my heart, I need to check that is true or something more.
Good point.
Yeah,
we
like
need
that.
to review these things with higher authority. Check in with our Guru.
Yeah.
Did I really see
Gyan.
Krishna?
Yeah.
Sambandha Gyan. So, in the question it's mentioned that you're noticing that we are particularly hyper-vigilant. But I know this is the case not just for our devotees, not for the Chaitanya Saraswati Math devotees, but all the followers of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We are all hypervigilant is a very good word. We can also say we're all indoctrinated. From day one, what we're learning about Krishna consciousness, what it is and what it is not, side by side. We're learning about both things simultaneously. So much caution is coming from our gurus. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur showed this in his pastimes from his very childhood, when he vowed not to come within 100 meters of a sahajiya. Remember that? And one day some sahajiya gentleman came to see Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who knew how to deal with sahajiyas. He diagnosed what is sahajiyaism. He indicated examples, sahajiyas. He pointed this out. He came to reform Gaudiya Vaishnavism from sahajiyism, save it from sahajiyism. But he is firm enough in his position. He can speak to some sahajiya gentlemen, but his son, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, vowed never to come within 100 meters of a sahajiya, and saw his father from a distance, from 100 meters away most likely, and gave his obeisances from afar and left. And that gentleman asked Bhaktivinoda, why? That's your son, your beautiful son. Why isn't he coming close to give his obeisances? And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur very candidly said, oh, he has a vow not to come within 100 meters of a sahajiya. And you are here. You are that sahajiya that he's staying 100 meters away from. So, this is Saraswati Thakur as a child. And, later grew up to, take this on head on in very fierce preaching against it. And all the followers of all the Gaudiya Mats and Saraswati Thakur followers and all the Gaudiya Vaishnav Rupanugas are hyper-vigilant about avoiding sahajiyaism. As Maharaj said, it's imitationism. We also hear the word counterfeit, like currency, counterfeit, counterfeit spirituality. Taking the highest things like raga bhakti, bringing it down into the mud of our illusion. Taking high things, bringing it low. And we saw in the pastimes of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who had a very good relationship with all of his god brothers, and one of his dear friends, the great Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, who loved kirtan so much. And he would come and visit Srila Sridhar Maharaj and stay some time and chant. But he would also indiscriminately go and join everybody's kirtan, including the owl, bow, kata, bhaja, all the sannyasi, the sahajiya groups. They'd gather. You see on the way to Paramatala, there's Haritala. There's a little Nat Mandir. And we'd always hear loudspeakers from that location with their different kirtans. And Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj would go and join them. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj did not like that. He was not happy about that. And kicked out Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. He said, get out of here. And I think many devotees heard about this. It's shocking, but it has a happy ending. Srila Sridhar Maharaj wanted to show that this is not okay. He objected, even though he knows Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj is not a Sahajiya. He loves kirtan and he's going around joining this kirtan, that kirtan. But he also wants to show the devotees this is not a good example. So I object. Kicked him out. Some time passes. Then they hear Babaji Maharaj's voice entering into the gates. Hare Krishna, Gaura Hare. He was always chanting. As Goswami Maharaj would say, when you'd look at Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj's face, his lips would always be vibrating. Krishna Nam. His lips were always moving, never still, because he was always chanting. So after some time, he comes back. Babaji Maharaj enters the gates. He comes up to Srila Sridhar Maharaj's veranda, offers his obeisances to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and asks, I kicked you out, and you're back. And Babaji Maharaj said, yes, you told me to leave, but you never told me that I cannot come back. And they laughed and embraced, and everything was fine. So lessons learned, maybe, maybe not, but Srila Sridhar Maharaj showed this is not okay with me, and but mercy is above justice, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj lovingly allowed his dear godbrother back. So we see these pastimes, and we learn from them. We don't also make any offense to Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. We hear this story, it's instructive, but we have respect. We honor his position, and we know he was not a Sahajiya. The word Sahaja, we hear, means like natural, spontaneous devotion. That's a good thing. But Sahajiya, and more specifically, Prākṛta-sahajiyāism, Prākṛta mundane, Sahajiya imitation. We can see it comes in subtle forms, it comes in gross forms. Subtle, we might just hear something that's off. Something's off. It's not grounded in Matala Harijana Kirtana Range Pujala Ragapata Gaurava Bange. That's the diorama in the entrance of our Nath Mandir. Srila Sridhar Maharaj had that inscripted. And then there's the diorama of Govardhan Hill, and underneath the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the Kirtan of Mahaprabhu, and upper tier on Govardhan is the pastimes of Radha and Govinda and Vrindavan. So that verse, the Ragapat, the path of the Raga Bhakti, we worship that on our heads while we engage in kirtan. That is what we do. We following Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, and we worship kirtan, and we know that, and we keep the Raga Bhakti on our head, the Raga Marg on our head, Braja Leela on our head, while we engage in worship and service in Gaura Leela as we are members of the Sankirtan movement. So engaging in Nam Sankirtan and worshiping Gaura Leela and Mahaprabhu. And knowing that on our heads one day, this Vrindavan Leela will be revealed. So Sridhar Sridhar Maharaj wanted that inscribed in the front of his Nat Mandir. This, when you enter, you see that. The opposite of Sahajiyism's modest, natural growth. Those were Sridhar Sridhar Maharaj's, it was his advice, and he used those 3 words to describe his approach to this Rupanuga, Gaudiya Vaishnava culture, Krishna consciousness, that we naturally, modestly grow in our understanding of what is revelatory, it's revealed truth. So, yeah, we're all of the followers of Saraswati Thakur, we all have been taught this, and we are cautious. When we go to Vrindavan, sometimes it's in your face. You were just there, you see all kinds of stuff, and make one wrong turn in Radha Kund, you might find yourself receiving Siddha Pranali. This has happened to so many innocent young devotees who just don't know where they're going, what they're doing, wandering around, meeting everyone, and Siddha Pranali, receiving from someone your internal identity as a servitor of Radharani and Krishna. You might be a Braja Gopi, you might be this, you might be that, and without adhikar, without capacity, without qualification, and doing that work, that inner work that's required to first, address that underneath layer, we are in Maya, we have no adhikar, we are unqualified, we have ego, our senses and our mind is not under control, but getting upper layers, some counterfeit spiritual experience, imitation, sahajiya conception, and that is causing so much misalignment, no way to integrate. So that's an example of what could happen in someone's non-vigilant this kind of thing happens, and we're warned against it. Our Saraswati Thakur did not want us wandering around in Radha Kund indiscriminately, unsupervised, hearing and visiting everybody. You can see where our temple is in Govardhan. It's very discreetly hidden in a back alley, very at the feet of Giriraj Govardhan, where we are safe and we have shelter. It's located in a guarded way, where Gurudev wanted us to stay and be careful and be in the shade of the Lord's lotus feet, Giriraj Govardhan. So sometimes we had one experience when Gurudev started our second temple in Vrindavan Dham. First was Govardhan, then he saw all our devotees are going into Vrindavan, then we need some shelter there, and he acquired a piece of land a little on the outskirts of Vrindavan. But he kept building a wall, like a containing wall that kept falling down, and nothing would happen there. The environment was resisting. Everything he would try to do on that property would never work out. So one day, as would happen often, his phone wasn't working for a few weeks, and he'd pick up the phone to see if there was a dial tone. And there was Mahesh Prabhu, the famous Mahesh shop. He was a disciple of Gurudev, and his father was on the phone. So the dead phone, Gurudev answers, and his name was Krishna Ballava Prabhu, Mahesh's father, asking Gurudev, please come, and we have this land across from us. We only want you to be there. That's Vrindavan Sevakunj temple, just across Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's memorial. Both those properties were Mahesh father's properties. And he asked Gurudev, you please take these two properties and come and stay here, make it your center, your mott, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat mott and mission. So Gurudev felt this was Rupa Goswami calling, and sent Purnananda Prabhu to sign the documents and built the temple there. And we're in the middle of it's Seva Kunj, very prominent place in Vrindavan. And Gurudev gave us shelter there, and we would have guests sometimes coming in and out. There was one French woman, Vaishnavi, who would go up and down the streets and chant with her kartals, and she'd come and make friends with us and join us in the temple. But one day while taking prasadam, we were all sitting together, she went into some gopi bhav and started offending Krishna, saying, that black man, I want nothing to do with this black man. And she was going on. And one of our children, one of our devotees' kids, spotted this. And was like, listen, lady, time to go home, finish up your Mahaprasadam, take your kartals, and we will show you to the gates. So even our kids are hyper-vigilant. They know what is sahajiyāism. And this happens when you go to Vrindavan, it's a mixed bag. And anything could happen. So we are careful. We've been taught, and I think it's not exclusively to us that we are hyper-vigilant. All devotees should know this. Be careful there. Even Mahaprabhu told Jagadananda Pandit to be careful there. Don't mix with the locals, on an intimate level, and don't hear and learn from them. So, yeah, we have sufficient warning. We are not living in fear, but we are educated. We've been trained, and we know what not to do. And we don't dwell on that. This is actually our first class on this subject, and it's a hard conversation, but we don't shy away from hard conversations, things that are important that we should all keep in mind. I have some notes here. I did get a heads up about this question, so I always like to get into the psychology of things whenever possible. And some things that could happen under the influence of Sahajiyism or Sahajiya, the spiritual inflation, you can begin to feel like, I'm advanced, I have some special access, and again, like not having qualification on your foundation, you're getting this higher, what is beyond your eligibility. And so there's some subtle ego reinforcement, but in a spiritual disguise. Imagination, reality blurring. You know, what is not real is being meditated upon, and it's imaginatory, and reduces your spiritual grounding. Self-deception takes place. Emotionalism mistaken for depth. So there again, no grounded practice, and you'll have these sentimental feelings and no way to integrate. Bypassing foundational work. So that purification didn't take place, that inner work didn't take place, and the effect is unworked inner reality creates a split with your actual self. You might be given something that you may have some resistance and difficulty admitting, like, I haven't actually realized this yet. So some kind of disillusionment, denial is there. And so some misalignment, inflated self-concept, and missing all that gradual development, humility, and experience of actual practicing life. So interesting concepts within the psychology of Sahajiyism, that some inflated spiritual identity can take place, blurred reality, emotional dependency, unintegrated inner life, and reduced discrimination. Things that we don't need and want in our little approach are very we're all like babies coming to the feet of our gurus and the Vaishnavas, and needing to start with good foundation. And so modest, natural growth is what Srila Sridhar Maharaj emphasized in our approach to Krishna consciousness, and stay in good association. We know, I've seen a survivor of Sahajiyism who, sincere devotee, just not taking any guidance and wandering into the wrong place at the wrong time, realizes they made a mistake, and by hearing Harikatha from higher source, from a proper source, good association, the Vaishnavas and the Gurus, by hearing, then, you can go ahead. Jai Guru Gauranga Govinda Sundar Vijay Jai. By good association, good hearing, good katha, then proper adjustment took place. Some proper guidance came and gave a good result. So Sahajiyāism, taking the highest things cheaply and artificially imitating them. Gurudev said, the correct idea is that we must always think it to be above us. Otherwise, we shall go down to the Sahajiya line. If we say that someone is a gopi, it is perfect Sahajiyāism, perfect imitation. That is real Sahajiyāism. But if we say that someone looks like a gopi, that is not exactly Sahajiyāism. We have some idea what a gopi looks like, so if we think that a particular lady looks like a gopi, that will not be actual Sahajiyāism. But we have no right to say it actually, otherwise immediately we shall be on the mundane platform. So, someone is qualified to say so, but we shall not think that we ourselves have the right to even take the name of the gopis. Throughout the whole of the Bhagavatam, Srila Sukadeva Goswami did not once mention the name of Srimati Radharani. This is because he tried to guard his discourse from Sahajiyāism. During that meeting with Maharaj Parikshit, many were present who would not have been able to understand properly if Sukadeva Goswami had mentioned the name of Radharani and her associates. If someone does not have the proper capacity to understand these topics, they will immediately go to Sahajiyāism. For their protection, Sukadeva Goswami did not take the names of Radharani and the gopis. Their identity was shown by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his writings. Only he gave some light by mentioning this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani, this one by Lalita Devi, and so on. So we must worship the Ragapat from afar, and our duty at present is to serve that rank of devotees and to engage in the congregational chanting of the Harinam Mahamantra in the association of devotees. This is the safe and actual process for us to make advancement in our Krishna conscious practicing life. Thank you for your question, and we hope you are satisfied with our humble attempts to answer. There's so much more to say, but I think today enough said. And we wish everyone the best, and we want to say these things with kindness. We ourselves are only aspiring devotees. We're aspiring to be all these things that we should be. We're not there yet, but student practitioners, learning, trying, aspiring. And we're learning as we go along, happy to share what we are learning, but by no means any perfect example. But doing our duty, our gurus wanted us to practice and preach at the same time. So in this way we share as we go along, and hope we're being helpful and supportive and sharing things that are substantial. So thank you all for listening, and we pray for your blessings, and we'll do this again next week.